What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about how different Gotham Knights will be solo versus cooperatively. And I want to talk about, my plan for the game. I want to ask you guys for your plan with the game, but I kind of wanted to explore, again, the difference between playing the game by yourself or playing it with somebody else. Honestly, I go back and forth between being like a massive fan of what they, are proposing that they're going to be doing versus not, right? By nature, in terms of who I am, I do like to play things completely on my own. So, the plan for me, I guess, is probably to do both. I think I want to get the most out of the game in the sense of doing both, but I also want to fully experience it by myself. I think that's fair. I think an underratedly high amount of people are going to do that. I know you'll see people, and there's been people in the comments here, and I respect all of your guys' opinions, that there's a lot of people that's saying, I'm going to play this game with my brother or someone who has a console that can do it, or they want to play with a YouTuber, whatever your circumstance may be, right? I've seen it quite a bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's completely fine, but I do think it kind of gets that overshadows. I do think there are people out there that are going to play this game by themselves and be perfectly content with it. Look, one of the main aspects of this game that I think the game is going to sink or swim with is if it's going to work both ways. You know what I mean? Because, again, I will try to do both. And I guess to clarify, we'll talk about it as we get much closer, right? Because we're still a while away, but I totally intend to play, and I really want to play with you guys, with people, with people in the community. So we'll work that out, and we'll figure out how to do that, as we get closer. But that's something just for fun and to connect with you guys on a different level, right? I definitely want to do. And, I guess for the game perspective, to be able to play the game with somebody and see how that changes things. All of the times I've mentioned it, I have talked about how it could be a negative. I will admit, I've been, in terms of that specific aspect of the game, I really have never been all that positive. You can't take away from the idea of playing with somebody else and how awesome that could be, right? The idea of that cooperative nature can be fun. Maybe it will be fun, right? That's going to be awesome. All I've ever said is that, and I think I have said that, but I've also said, I think it breaks immersion. I think there's problems there in terms of playing as the same character. And again, I know you don't have to do that. Nobody's forcing both players to play as the same person, but the fact that you can definitely doesn't make me feel good about how they've built the game, right? That's kind of the basic way of boiling it in, or boiling it down. But I'm excited for that potential, and again, in terms of how the game will hold up, or how the game will be scored, or how I'll view the game, that will be a fun. It's actually tough because we do care about the game so much that, of course, we're going to judge it on story and characters and missions and combat and all of graphics, all of that kind of stuff, right? But really, a very big thing with the game is, can you play it? Obviously you can, but will it work? Will it feel fine? Will it feel great? Will you not even, what I would, the best way of doing it would probably be if you didn't know that you could do it the other way. You know what I mean? I would say, maybe that's wrong, but I'm just thinking about off the top of my head, I would imagine if you played it solo, and I told you it's only a solo game, and you didn't know you could play it cooperatively, and you loved it. It worked. It was fun. It was an amazing game, all that stuff. That would be the sign of a good game. And if you played it cooperatively, and I told you, yeah, actually, this is the only way to play it. It's meant for this. And you said, oh, yeah, I buy that. I believe that. You know what I mean? I think that's reasonable to say, right? So that's kind of the idea of this video, of what we're talking about, right? That's how I'm going to view it, right? When I'm playing it solo, when I'm playing it single player. Now, in terms of how it's going to work, that's a little bit, we don't know too many details. They've talked about it a little bit. We've seen two players. Technically, in the only gameplay we've gotten, we saw those two players, right? It definitely seems like it could be meant to be, two players, considering that's what they showed. At the same time, again, it could be a 50-50 thing. So I'm definitely the more I talk about it, when I actually do discuss these things, I do get excited because there is, again, an undeniable quality, if you pull it off, of doing cooperative. Just the fact of playing as superheroes with other people, fighting bad guys, whether it's in an open world scenario or you're kind of in a more linear spot, kind of how almost, well, theirs was a little bit open, but it was mainly like linear. You had to go from point A to point B in that gameplay showing, right? Like, if it works, it can be really, really fun. And I mean, we've talked about a Teen Titans game. People brought up, like, X-Men games. There's an undeniable want to play, you know, like, specifically. I think there's probably a want to play a lot of games, you know, with other people as well. But an undeniable want to play superhero games with other people, okay? With other people, and to just experience that. Whether the game is made from the ground up to do that, or whether it's not, right? And again, like, it's different than Suicide Squad Kill a Justice League, which I've always talked about and always found interesting. I don't know how it's going to go, or if one is going to be kind of more obviously bad than the other. But remember, like, Suicide Squad is you play as your character, you pick, and then either you find 3 other people, whether it's like a lobby or your friends, or they're bots. So the game from the ground up is built to support 4 people the entire time. There's no actual way of not doing it. You know what I mean? And when they said that, I found it, like, that was kind of they didn't even, like, make it that known that was how it works, but obviously it is. So I've always found that interesting. I haven't always loved that idea. Like, we have to see it play out to know if it's going to work. But again, like, the opposite for Gotham Knights. You don't have, like, the only time we've seen the game in action, you don't even have to do it like that. So that's, in my opinion, that's going to be pretty darn interesting to see if, like, you're lacking something. If you're playing it solo and you're like, oh, I see why you should probably be doing this cooperatively. Yet again, if that happens, I don't think that's the sign of a, you know what I mean? I don't think that's actually all that good. If it's like, oh, I really need, because I guess you could say, well, then just play 2 players. But, like, well, what if you don't want to? And what if literally the game is advertised as, well, you don't have to do that. You can play it by yourself. So they're in a, I'm not saying, like, again, it's like a doomed from the beginning kind of thing. They put themselves in an interesting spot where we'll have to see how it works. What kind of game is this going to be built like? You know what I mean? So that's something that you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments, as always, right? Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. Leave a like. Definitely helps these videos out. And I try to do a new one of these videos every single week. I try to do it every Friday. I think next week's may be on a Saturday, but we'll keep it going. And obviously DC fandom is fast approaching. It's fast approaching while also being pretty slow, right? But we're getting there. Okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.